Hello students, welcome to the next chapter for 12th standard science biology. Well, you can see the beautiful flowers in my background, and let us start this chapter with nothing but the flowers, and let us understand the importance of flowers in our day-to-day life. Well, flowers have a huge role to play in our life, right from the birth of a child to the death of a person. During various occasions, while offering the prayers to God, as well as during various ceremonies of the marriage. In our day-to-day life, flowers have a huge role to play. At our home also, there are certain flowers which are kept at the particular place as an ornamental flowers. So, let us understand that how these flowers are basically generated, how the variations in the colors, how the patterns are being created. So the chapter that which we are going to focus is the reproduction in case of the flowering plants.
Human beings have had an intimate relationship with flowers since time immemorial. They are grown in the gardens as well as in the open backyard. Furthermore, these flowers are the objects of aesthetic, the ornamental, social, religious, and the cultural values. So they have always been used as a symbols for conveying important human feelings. Furthermore, the flowers are also the roots for the sexual reproduction. And there are specific seasons for the reproduction of the flowers. And there are numerous hormones which are basically responsible for the development, for the growth, for giving beautiful fragrance and the colors to the flowers. These hormones, one of it is a florigen. They have a huge role to play in bringing about the changes in the flower, just as a bud, that is a floral buds, which is formed by the differentiation. Furthermore, the development of the floral primordial, that is the initial stage of the flower, that is also being generated by the involvement of numerous hormones. The development of a solitary floral bud at the initial stage of the flower or the multiple floral buds, all of them are created because of the hormones. Later, the floral buds get transformed into a typical flower with beautiful fragrance and the color. There are specialized nodes at the junction of the floral buds. These are attached to the base of a typical flower known as the thalamus. So the whorls of the flowers are attached to a typical thalamus. So which are these structures that are attached? They are the androecium, the male part, the gynoecium, the female part, the calyx. These are the various structures along with the corolla. Furthermore, the calyx and corolla are together known as the perianth. They have a special name for it. So, there are specialized agents for the transfer of the pollen grains. While the gynoecium having some sort of specialized structures and known as the pistil. Likewise, the androecium also has their own respective specialized structures, the stamens. Focusing on the male part, the number of the stamens, they vary in different flowers depending on the climatic condition and the genetic makeup of the flowers. Moreover, looking into the parts of a typical stamen, it basically consists of the anther and a filament. So let us go into the crux of this. This anther and filament are mainly attached either to a petal and then to a thalamus also. So let us zoom the structure. The anther, basically it is a bilobed structure. So there are two lobes of an anther. If we go into the inner structures of it, then we'll be able to see the partitions known as the thecas of an anther lobe. So as a result of which, a tetragonal structure of a stamen, if you observe, if we take a transverse sections, then we'll be able to see that there are four basic structures, four rounded structures you are able to observe. When we observe it under a microscope, these rounded structures placed at the corners are known as the microsporangium. Now these microsporangium are further surrounded by few of the layers when the young anther is there. So let us observe the names of the layers from outside to inside. That is, the outermost, the epidermis, followed by the endothecium, then the middle layer, and then the innermost, that is the tapetum. These structures, they play a huge role in the growth and the development of the pollen grain. The central tissue is nothing but a group of cells, that is the sporogenous tissue. Furthermore, epidermis, the endothecium and the middle layers, they do the function of protection, while the tapetum, it helps in the growth and the development of the microsporangium cells. And when the anther dehisces, the pollen grains are ejected outside a typical structure. Furthermore, if we observe the inner structure of it, then we'll be able to observe that the tapetal cells, they are basically binucleated cells. Bi means two nucleated cells. The inner structure of it mainly consists of several cells showing the structure of the pollen cells, that is said to be the microspore mother cells. Now let us see the transformation of these microspore mother cell. Now each microspore mother cell, it undergoes some sort of division known as the meiosis. And as we know very well, the meiotic division gives rise to 4 daughter cells. So here a 4 group of microspores are generated known as the microspore tetrad. Tetra for a group of 4 individuals. Here 4 microspores that are being generated. Furthermore, this anther contains a bag-like structure known as the pollen sac. Sac means the bag-like structures which contains numerous pollen grains. And when this pollen sac dehisces, when it breaks down, a lot of millions of pollen grains are ultimately released, and that depends on the length of the anther. So in the development of the microspore into a pollen grain, the tetrad is later on observed as a separated microspore, and then finally a pollen grain is basically generated with the involvement of numerous hormones also. So when we observe a structure of a typical pollen grain, it consists of a vegetative cell and an irregularly shaped nucleus with a couple of vacuoles also. Furthermore, there are also other structures such as the generative cell, the role of it is there in case of the fertilization. Furthermore, the fluid, that is the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell, it also consists of a lot of enzymes which help in the further growth and the development of the pollen cells. So here the 2 cell stage of a pollen grain is there with the involvement of the vegetative and the generative cell. Now this undergoes mitosis. Now in mitosis we have studied very well that one cell divides into the 2. So here the 2 male gametes are generated and the vegetative nucleus remains as it is. So at the end we get a 3-celled stage. So under the structure we observe numerous pollen grains that are being generated, and each pollen grain now consists of the 2 male gametes. So the anther ultimately dehisces as per the climatic conditions which are suitable, and the pollen grains are mainly released off. We can easily observe the dehiscence of the pollen sac with the removal of the pollen grains that are ultimately released outside. Well, in case of numerous plants, it is there. Jowar, such type of condition is also observed. In case of hibiscus too, numerous pollen grains are found there, but only the vegetative and the generative cells. So we observed the 2 clear-cut differences between the 2 plants. Now let us go into the structure of a typical pollen grain. when we observe it under a microscope, what do we observe? Well, there are basically two layers of it, the spiny layer and the inner smooth layer. This spiny layer has a special ability to attach on the surface of the stigma. The diameter basically consists of 25 to 50 micrometers. No doubt variations are there. The outermost layer and the innermost layer. Outermost, that is the exine, inner, that is the intine. Both of them play a huge role in case of the protection. This is a microscopic view of the exine, showing the spiny appearance, so that on the basis of the chemotropism, its attachment takes place on the surface of the stigma, and then the formation of the pollen tube can easily occur. So, the microscopic view of the exine showing numerous sort of valley type of structures which help in the proper attachment to the stigma of a typical flower. Furthermore, there are minute pores known as the germ pore, and through these pores the germ tube known as the pollen tube ultimately emerges outside. This intine also plays a huge role in the development and the further growth of the pollen tube. Now let us observe how this pollen tube formation takes place. Specialized membranes are there, that is the plasma membrane also. So when the pollen grain falls on the stigma, it forms the pollen tube. We can observe the two male gametes, and the fertilization process ultimately takes place with the transfer of the male gametes inside the ovum. And that fertilization, it takes place inside an embryo sac of the female gametophyte. And after the fertilization, the development of the seed basically takes place. So, wheat pollen and the rice pollen, numerous differences are there, and that we can easily observe it out. Moreover, they lose viability within 30 minutes of their release. So, these are just the accidental invaders. They have a huge role to play. In a family of Rosaceae, you can observe the pollen grains, as well as in the family of the Leguminosae. They remain viable for months and months. So variations are found. Furthermore, there are bee pollens also that are artificially created. And these pollen grains are rich in nutrients. It has become a fashion in the recent years to use the pollen tablets as food supplements also. In Western countries, a large number of pollen products in the form of the tablets and the syrups are available in market. This pollen consumption has been claimed to increase the performance of the athletes and the race horses. There are specialized banks for it, the pollen bank. These are stored at specific places also. Some people they suffer allergies because of the pollen grains. Rashes are seen on the surface of the skin. As well as if it attacks the respiratory system, it can damage the lungs also. The carrot grass pollens they play a huge role in affecting the life of an individual. The skin infection that we can easily observe it out, the eczema and the dermatitis, that is the inflammation of the skin. So basically androecium, that is a male gametophyte attached to a typical flower, consists of the anther and the filament.
Well, in the next class, we shall focus in much detail about the female gametophyte and various other structures. Thank you very much.